Welcome back, Internet, to yet another edition of Confessions of a Retro Gamer, and it is Confessions of a Retro Gamer on this occasion. It's a big celebration. The PlayStation is 20 years old. Who'd have thunk it? I know here in the UK, I think it came out in 95, possibly 96. I don't have my notes on me at the moment, so it's just off the top of my head. But yeah, the PlayStation 1, what a machine. You know, Sony did the impossible. You know, they came out of nowhere and they completely took over video games back then. The N64 stuck to cartridges, the Sega Saturn kind of failed, and just Sony ran away. And, well, what can you say? It's a fantastic machine. There's so many fun games on there, all the demo discs that were coming out for it. There's just so much fun. I mean, I can remember buying a Saturn, and I still think it blew up my TV, but you know, my dad said the tube blew, so I tried to take it back and the guy wouldn't let me get my money back. So my folks went in and done it instead, and then he really gave them the money back just quick, rather than trying to do the old, oh well, you can't return it, you have to trade it in sort of deal. But yeah, digressing off of that, my dad brought home a PlayStation, the PlayStation 1, and it had a memory card. It was on a deal with Toys R Us, and excuse me, there was it came with Mortal Kombat 3, like a Thunderhawk 2, I want to say, Thunderhawk, something like that. A helicopter game it was. I didn't go much on it. Do you know what? I really can't remember. I know I got Demolition Derby or Derby at some point, because my dad used his mileage vouchers that he got, because he used to be a truck driver, and he got thousands of points by filling up the truck all the time. So he got Demolition Derby for it, and I honestly cannot remember the rest of the games that I had, but I know I had Mortal Kombat 3, because that was one I used to play forever. And there was a demo disc that had Pandemonium on it, and that's a game that I've always wanted to try and get hold of, and yet I never got round to buying it. I love the tune on it, though. It's the only tune I've heard because I haven't played it, is Skull Fortress, which is, I think it's level 1, and it was a level I used to play over and over and over. On that demo as well was Crash Bandicoot, and that was a very weird looking game, and again, another one I never got around to playing, but I really should have a look at it. But I get the feeling that PlayStation 1 games are now going to start going up through the roof because of this 20th anniversary. I can remember being over at my brother-in-law's house playing he was playing Resident Evil, and there was a record and DVD video shop. Well, it was videos, because DVD wasn't out then. So it was a record and video shop that started selling games, and it was called Our Price, which was then merged with Virgin Megastore, which then went whatever. But he got it from there because he could get a free memory card. And I can remember my sister having to go back to this stupid store to try and get the memory card, and it was out of stock for months, so he wasn't happy. But I was hooked on Resident Evil then, and I didn't get Resident Evil for a long time because I could never find it, and whenever I did see it, I never had the money to get it. Resident Evil 2, though, I can remember following it in CNBG, Play. There was another magazine, I think, called Power Station. There was a tips book that had the entire guide to walk through the whole thing. I've still got that. You know, I was following Resident Evil 2 like a motherfucker, and the day it came out, I went downtown and I bought it. I came home and I played it for 2 weeks solid to finish it completely with everything. I loved the shit out of it, and to this day, it's definitely one of my favourite Resident Evil games of all time, and I think a lot of fans feel the same way as well. But I do have a lot of love for the first one on the PlayStation 1. I still haven't got around to playing the GameCube remake, and there's a video on my channel about my love of it, and the remake that's coming out next year for the HD machines. But yeah, I never got into Nemesis. I can remember buying it really late after it came out and just not getting into it as much. I don't know why. I think it's because I was working all the time, and I never really felt like I had the time to play games then. So it's one of those. I'm gonna have to go back and play it, because it's kind of like the Superman Returns aspect, where your brain thinks, well, are you sure it was really that bad? And then you go back and play it or watch it and you think, yeah man, it's totally shit. But I got the feeling with Resident Evil 3 Nemesis it probably won't be that way, so I definitely need to boot up and start playing not only the PlayStation ones, but the GameCube series as well. What else did we get for the games I played anyway? The Tekken series, you know, how could you go wrong with Tekken 1, 2 and 3? I've spent decades playing these games. It felt like it anyway, with my friends Max and Matt over their place, Max's place I should say. You know, Kazuya Mishima never let me down, and King. I used to love Yoshimitsu and Kunimitsu, but then I just kind of fell out of favour with them. I'd stopped caring, and it was always King and Armor King and Kazuya. That was always fun, you know. I had Street Fighter 2, then I had Tekken, and you know, my love for Mortal Kombat as well. So I was quite happy for the beat 'em ups. What else did I get? Did I look at as a kid? The Mortal Kombat 3, you know, the arcade perfect port. What a game! I loved the shit out of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. And to get the arcade, you know, I had the 3 on the Mega Drive, Genesis for you lovely American people. And I loved it. I absolutely love Mortal Kombat on my Mega Drive. And then when we had Mortal Kombat 3 in the arcade, I can remember my cousin Martin playing it all the time and being a complete badass at it, and then he was ace on the Mega Drive. And then we got the arcade port on the PlayStation and it was the same. And then came Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which everyone was thinking, oh, it's going to be the 3 games ported to the PlayStation as arcade conversions, and it wasn't. It was just every character in the game, and that was brilliant, except I smashed one of my controllers playing it, because the difficulty would just jump from normal to just suddenly, you know, it through the fucking roof, and you couldn't do anything, or at least I couldn't. And I didn't have the patience, and I can remember throwing my controller quite a few times, and then in one occasion there was something broke inside, you could hear it rattling. So, Dad, if you hear this, I apologise for possibly breaking one of the controllers. It still worked, it just rattled. So, sorry, Dad. But yeah, Mortal Kombat was one of my loves on that system. Same with the GTA series. I got that recently to add to my collection, but I can remember playing that on the PC and just thinking it was funny. Just getting on this motorbike and going down the strip of road that was so long, and you go so fast, and when the screen finally caught up, you were dead, or you'd crashed into something, you know, and then you run over the Hare Krishna lot, and it's just a stupid little game, and it caused so much controversy, and you look back at it and think, but why? It's, you know, the London one's not too bad, GTA London, and I haven't played through 2 yet. It's one that's on my shelf to play through, but from what I've seen, it doesn't look too bad. What else was there? Worms, you know, I spent hours playing Worms on the PC, and did the same with the PlayStation. I can remember having some friends around, and we for a gaming night. This was going back nearly 10 years ago now, and we went through GoldenEye, Mario Kart 64, and Worms, and we spent hours on Worms. It was so much fun. Such an amazing game, and such a simple game. You know, it's that whole Street Fighter 2 mentality. It's easy to play and hard to master. Because if you could master all the weapons on Worms, you were fucking man. So, you know, Worms 1, the original, is just an amazing game to play through. Total NBA 97. Now this is a basketball game that, I mean, I was getting into basketball a little bit at school, and I was a big fan of the Toronto Raptors at the time. Damon Stoudemire was my favourite player, and when we went to Florida in '98, we spent hours looking for something to do with Toronto Raptors, and we found it in a store, in a sports shop, and my dad bought me the baseball cap, and I've still got it to this day. But I played the shit out of this game, and you know, Toronto Raptors all the way through, and such fun. It's such fun. And you know, maybe I'll do a review on it at some point to make sure you know, you guys can see the love that I had back in '97, and I've still got it there now. Speaking of another sports game, FIFA 98. That's probably the only FIFA game I've ever played, I think, off the top of my head, and it's amazing. It's my favourite FIFA game. It's got a great soundtrack, great controls. I'm a Newcastle United supporter, and so I played with them and won the Premiership, and I think that was the Road to World Cup game as well. I didn't play the World Cup part on it because I was too busy trying to do the Premiership season, so again, that's one I need to pick up again, because I sold my PlayStation years ago and I need to get it back. So it's definitely a good game to pick up, so go get it. Spider-Man. Now, there was 2 Spider-Man games, kind of based on the cartoon show, I think. It's kind of like how all the Spider-Man games are, you know, like the sandbox thing, where you can swing wherever and whatnot. They were brilliant. They were just so much fun. I loved the first one because it's got Venom and Carnage and all that, and it's awesome. You know, one of my favourite games of all time, and one of my favourite Spider-Man games. The second one though, Enter Electro, I can remember not liking it as much. I did finish it as well as the first one. It's definitely, again, it's like Resident Evil Nemesis. I need to pick it up again and play it again, because I can't really remember what I disliked and what I liked about it, so it's definitely one of those I need to pick it up again and go through again. Speaking of games that was really fun to play and whatnot, there was the SmackDown games 1 and 2. The first one's not too bad, you know, it's a bit of a throwaway title, but SmackDown 2, Know Your Role, I can remember being over my friend Jack's house and playing this for hours, because it was right back at the time where I'd got back into watching the WWF at the time, and it had basically mirrored the year previous, where Stone Cold was injured and The Rock was the champion, and then you had Shawn Michaels come in and do this, and then, you know, he was the what was it, the matchmaker, and then Mick Foley was, and then this, that, and the other. It's brilliant, you know. So hours, absolutely hours, and there was hidden in the Creator Wrestler, you could build some of the Invasion guys, so you could start the Invasion. It's a shame SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, which is the first one on the PlayStation 2. No, that was the next one, wasn't it? Just Bring It, that's it. That was the first one from the PlayStation 2. It basically was the same graphics as the PS1 ones, wasn't it? And it didn't do very much. And then Shut Your Mouth was the next one, which was really good. And again, that's one I need to pick up. So yeah, go and get the SmackDown games. They're fun, especially SmackDown 2. What else did we have? Also the WWF games for Attitude and Warzone. I can remember buying Warzone on the N64 and the PS1, and loving the PS1 better because it had the actual music. But they're so horrible. I can remember getting Attitude the day it came out, and playing through with it with The Rock Owen Hart, and some others, but looking back, they're really horrible. I don't even know how the hell I managed to finish it. You know, it's just, they're terrible games, but they're fun. You know, that's what they are. You know, the ECW games were done in the same style, weren't they, for the PlayStation 1? So, you know, you just look at it like that and smile, and you know, they're okay. WCW had a couple of games, and I played 2 on the PS1. One was, I think it was Backstage Assault or Mayhem. I think it was Mayhem, because that was Backstage Assault was just all out the back, wasn't it? So yeah, it had to have been Mayhem, and I can remember buying it, and I played it for about 10 minutes, and I immediately got back on the bus and took it back because I absolutely hated it. I couldn't stand it. And the other one, which is just as terrible, is graphically it's horrible, the music is terrible, the controls suck. WCW Thunder. But I love it. I don't know why. You know, you can finish the game in about 30 seconds. Yeah, probably a bit longer, but you know, you can finish the game really fast. It's just a joke at how easy it is. It's graphically it's horrible, you know, but it's a fun little game. You get to see some of the promo videos and so forth, and it's got the music, and it's got their entrances as proper footage of them going to the ring. So it's not too bad. Then we also had the Alien trilogy, and we had Alien Resurrection, but I've never played Alien Resurrection, so I won't discuss it here. The Alien trilogy, I never got round to finishing. I think I did parts 1 and 2. I got about I think I got 2/3 of the way through, but I never got round to finishing it. And it's really good, you know. It's Doom, it's Duke Nukem Quake, you know. It's the first-person shooter, and what's not to love? It's got the aliens, it's got the weapons, it's eerie, it's creepy, it's really long-winded at times though, but you know, that was a great thing about the PS1. It was, you know, they had 3 trilogy game series. Well, 4, if you talk about the one I'm going to talk about next. The Die Hard trilogy game. Now, I love Die Hard. In fact, I like all of them except for the 3rd one. Really, I like the 3rd one, but you know, I prefer the others. But the game is great. I actually finished Die Hard 2, which is the light gun game, with the control pad because I never had the light gun, funnily enough. And the only other light gun game I've tried to play with a gun, without the gun, sorry, is with a control pad, is Operation Wolf on the Master System, and I sucked. So you think, Jesus, I've not done it since, and you know, I haven't tried it lately. Maybe I'll do a playthrough of Die Hard trilogy, Die Hard 2, and see how far I get. I can remember liking it a hell of a lot. Die Hard 1 as well. I loved the first Die Hard on the trilogy disc. You know, such a great fun game. You know, it's got all the one-liners. It's so much fun. I never really got into the Die Hard with a Vengeance part of the game. I think it's because I don't really like driving games as much, because I tend to lose concentration, and you know, I find them a bit tedious. So I could only do like 3 or 4 levels, and then I'd get bored. So I'd have to do a couple of levels, go and play the first part after I'd saved it, and then do about half an hour on that, and then change back to Die Hard with a Vengeance. But I've done it. I've finished it all, and they were fun. I did get hold of Die Hard Trilogy 2 at one point, and I've got to be honest, I don't rate it at all. If you're going to go for a Die Hard game other than Die Hard Trilogy, go for Die Hard Vendetta on the PS2 and the GameCube. I'm not sure if it's on the Xbox because I haven't seen a copy myself, but again, I haven't got my notes on that, so I can't comment on it. But yeah, stick with Die Hard Vendetta and the trilogy for PS1 because there are some amazing games. We also got some Mega Man games. Mega Man 8 is really terrible. I don't like it. I have to be honest. I'm a big Mega Man fan, and I'm working on a project for a mass Mega Man video. I'll get around to finishing it at some point when my job lets me. Yeah, I didn't really like Mega Man 8. I played it after my memories of Mega Man is playing it Mega Man's 2, 3 and 4, 8, 1, 5, 6, 7. So I've played them really ass backwards, and then 9, and I still haven't got around to playing through 10 yet. So my playthroughs with Mega Man, the classic Mega Man series, is all backwards. Same as Mega Man X, and I did have Mega Man X3 on the PlayStation 1 for a while, and somehow it's disappeared. I had Mega Man X4, 5, and I've got 6. But for some reason, my lovely sister decided to throw my copy of Mega Man X5 in the bin. And yeah, that sucks, because I love Mega Man X5. As terrible as it is, it's not the best game in the world. It's definitely not the best game in the X series. I love X5. It's got some great music. The weapons are pretty poor, but you can fight Zero or X. It's such a fun little game. There was also Mega Man Battle and Chase here in the UK. I can't remember if it came out in Japan. I know it didn't come out in America, or North America, sorry. That wasn't too bad. Graphically, it was terrible, but it was a fun little Mario Kart clone, and I got pretty good at it, I think. I know I spent a long time playing it. For some reason, don't ask me why. I think I'm just a bit of a sadist in that way, but we had some great little Mega Man stuff there. Mega Man X3, I didn't play Mega Man X2, and I never saw it anywhere, so I never got round to getting it. I did get the first one on the Super NES, so I love the Mega Man X1, and I love Mega Man X3. X2 I'm a bit on the fence with, but again, I'm digressing, we'll save that for later time. What else did we get on there? Of course, the Tony Hawk's games. Now, Tony Hawk's 1, I never really cared for when I played it at my friend Jack's house, but I gotta admit, I've got the series again now, and whilst 4 is really terrible and shouldn't have even been ported, I should say, even been ported, 1 is amazing. I can remember when I had my games room set up properly at my parents' house, just sat there for hours playing it and just getting really good at it, and it's an amazingly fun game. And Tony Hawk's 2 is probably the best game of the series, and I love the shit out of that. And then I can remember going over to my friend Jack's house to play it, and then I bought it myself, and then going over to Jack's to play Tony Hawk's 3, and I've got that as well. I need to get it on the PlayStation 2, because it was the definitive version, but Jesus, there was so much fun tricks you could do, and that's what it was, guys, it was just complete nuts. And the games were fun, the system was great, there was so many games I never got around to buying and going through, like Metal Gear 1. That's why I bought the collection on the PS3, so I can go through all of it from like the MSX up to number 4, and then get hold of, is it the Phantom Pain when it comes out, and go through that. We had Fade to Black, the sequel to Flashback. I had that on the PC, and I've just picked it up for the PlayStation 1 because I never got round to finishing it on the PC, so I want to go through it again. I believe there was a copy of a port of Dark Forces that was on the PS1 that was originally on the PC. Again, I had that on the PC. I've not come across it on the PlayStation, but it's one I want to get hold of. There was Soul Edge. I think it was Soul Edge in the arcade, and then it was Soul Blade on the PlayStation 1, which is Tekken with weapons. It's now Soul Calibur, the Soul Calibur series. I had that when I had the original my old PlayStation before I sold everything, and it was great in the arcade, but I couldn't play it for some reason at home. I don't think it transitioned well for me anyway. I don't remember being completely fond of it as much as when I played it in the arcade. But my biggest memories of the PlayStation was the demo discs. It was like a throwback to playing on the Amstrad. We had all the demo tapes and so forth then, and now we're getting to play the games again. That's how I got hooked on Metal Gear. I've still got the demo disc for that, which came with like 50 mini games as well. like a clone of Boulder Dash. I can't remember what it was called in America, if it wasn't called Boulder Dash, you know. I love that demo disc, and I've still got it, and I still play it to this day. I've still got the Resident Evil 2 demo disc, which give you 5 minutes of the game at the start. And I can remember spending hours playing that demo, trying to get further and further every time, and I'd always get to the part where you meet the cop who gives you the card and locks you out of the room, and then you've got to shoot him later on in the game. You know, I'd always get to the same part, and it just sucked because you couldn't get any more. But it just seriously just couldn't wait to play Resident Evil 2. That's probably my favourite game on the system, was the Resident Evil series, and just so many fun memories. You know, I mean, you got the memory cards, so you didn't have to worry about passwords. You know, it's such an ingenious little thing at the time. You didn't think about it. You know, now we take saving for granted, but back then it was a brand new thing, and that was 20 years ago. You know, and you know, there's so many other games like Doom and Final Doom that's out there. You know, and you know, there's some Duke Nukem stuff. You know, there's there's the Legacy of Kain series that's out there. You know, there's just is it Parasite Eve in America? I don't think we ever got it here in the UK. I think we might have got one of them, and it might have been the sequel. You know, there was this Silent Hill, I think, started on the PlayStation 1. There's just so many great franchises started. And then you had the DualShock pad that came out shortly after. You know, the PlayStation 1, 20 years old, and okay, some of the graphics may not look amazing, but it just plays so much fun. It's like all the other retro consoles. It may not look the best, but it has such fun. And there's a game that everyone's going to probably be thinking, oh, well, you're not talking about it, why aren't you talking about it? And that's the Final Fantasy VII. I'll be honest, I have never played a Final Fantasy game. I never really cared either, and to be honest, it's one of those games I don't think I would have the patience to sit through and play. I do have all of the Final Fantasies that came out on the Super Nintendo from Japan, but I've got them from Japan though, so I'll need to sit down with my Japanese translating book to play them properly, or I could just play my Xbox, which has the ROMs on, and go through and do it that way, because they'll all be in English then. But you know, digressing. So yeah, you know, that's just some of the games that I played. I know there's thousands, billions of other games out there that, you know, touch people's lives. I know there's some Micro Machines games came out on there. You know, just a complete phenomenon. Such a fun series of games to play that started on the PlayStation, and it was just so much fun. You know, and I really don't know what else to say about it. You know, it was just an amazing system. And whilst I don't have the same fondness and the fuzziness for the PlayStations 2 and 3, you know, it's not to say that I won't get them over time, because I might come across those games that everyone loves, like Half-Life and so forth. I mean, I love Red Faction on the PlayStation 2, so, you know, and I love the GTA series on the PlayStation 2 and 3. You know, I love GTA 5 and I love Vice City, probably because I'm a big 80s fan, so, you know, Vice City really gets it for me. But that's digressing, because that's for when the PlayStation 2 is 20 years old, which won't be long, actually. But yeah, that's about it for this 20th anniversary. That's just some of my memories, my rambling about the machine and my dad buying it for a random reason, and some of the game series that I played and love and still have a great warm fuzziness for. Is there anything on the PlayStation that you loved? You know, tell me, you know, let me know what you think. Comment at the bottom, you know, post a link to your web reply, whatever, you know, your video reply. Just share the love for the old PlayStation 1. It's an amazing machine, and you know, you can't go wrong by picking one up if you find it for cheap. So that's it for this little video. So don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe, and let us know how you feel about everything, really. That's all I can say about this now. So I've been Retro Phil, and this has been Confessions of a Retro Gamer, the 20th anniversary for the PlayStation. So yeah, have a good night, guys, or good day, whatever time of the day it is for you when you're watching this. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Have a good one.